I formed the New Palm Chord Orchestra as a voice for my compositions. I was working for a long time in the traditional piano trio setting, so jazz piano, double bass and drum kit, and was getting increasingly frustrated, not with the other musicians but with myself, in that we'd play these concerts and the pieces that I was bringing to the stand that I was composing, they weren't ever reaching their full potential. I was feeling very incomplete. So I decided to add a string quartet, and that took quite a bit of courage to write for an instrument you don't play. But the initial concert, which was a 7-piece, so piano trio and string quartet, was such a success that it really gave me that boost to add the other instruments that I started hearing. But again, that took me 6 months to understand what was in my head. Was I hearing a clarinet? Was that an oboe? Was that a French horn? What is that? So it is a very slow process. The New Palm Chord Orchestra is made up of some of Melbourne's best jazz and classical musicians. We have, in the rhythm section, we have Frank Desario on double bass, who's a stalwart of the Melbourne jazz scene. And for this tour, we've got a very special percussionist, Craig Beard. In terms of the violins, we have Jeremy Blackman, who's a wonderful fiddle player and does some improvisation as well. Larissa Aguiar, Phoebe Green on viola, and Anna Orsek on cello. We also have Karen Heath on clarinet, who doubles extraordinarily on bass clarinet and flute, and Rosie Savage on French horn. So it's beautiful to have smattered around amongst the group improvisers who can break out. We are so honoured and excited that Eugene Friesen has agreed to come and join us. I invited Eugene to come and play with the New Palm Chord Orchestra by hearing some of his work and knowing instantly from not even 30 seconds that it was the perfect match for this group. It's just such a buzz to be playing with such an incredibly gifted and talented international artist.
I see a great kinship between Gemma and myself, and philosophically about music, because I think that we are both part of this kind of wave of composer-performers that I think is growing all the time. More and more players are really discovering the joy of this kind of creativity and defining themselves through their own repertoire. It's so important to kind of differentiate oneself as a performer. And as a classically trained musician, of course, we all play a lot of the same repertoire. So by the time we go out into the world, what is really the difference between cellist A and cellist B, or pianist A, or whatever? And so my answer to that, and clearly Gemma's as well, is to create a personal repertoire, that is really expressive and communicates the values that we hold in music.
The biggest thing with the New Palm Chord Orchestra and any music that I write that differs it in my mind or makes it special is improvisation. And the reason for that is I truly believe that improvisation and the ability to improvise is using instrumental music as a language and continuing to promote the use of it as a language, which I think is incredibly important. It's a skill that started to get a little bit lost in classical music. And I think it's so important for musicians to be able to have a voice of their own. Both Melbourne Recital Centre, Salon and the Orchestra Room are really perfect spaces for the MPCO because they're intimate settings, the audience can be right in there with the musicians. The Orchestra Room also has the beautiful aspect of looking out onto the Sydney Harbour, which makes it incredibly special. And again, Melbourne Recital Centre has just the best acoustics in the world in that salon. passion to bring this music to the stage. And that's what really started this whole project.